Whoops. Hey guys, how you doing? Happy Saturday to you. Before we start the show, I wanted to do a quick little message that doesn't have anything to do with paranormal. And, bear with me here. I might break down a little bit. Tomorrow is my son's graduation from high school. I wanted to tell him how proud I am of him. He did it. 12 years of hard work. I mean, he wasn't in high school for 12 years. 12 years of hard work led us to this day. It wasn't always easy, like most kids. It wasn't always easy. It wasn't a lot of fighting, doing homework, a lot of fighting, getting up to go to school, a lot of late nights trying to get him to do homework and go to bed for school the next morning. But it's all over, bud. You did it. I am proud of you. Mom's proud of you. Whatever the next chapter is, I know he's going to community college after this, and then he's going to go to Rolla in Missouri S&T. Whatever you decide to do, I know he wants to do mechanical engineering. We're behind you 100%, but I love you. Proud of you, and I just wanted to say that. On with the show. Hey guys, happy Saturday to you. Hey Krista.
Saturday. Hey,
happy Saturday. Good. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. We have a fun show today. Natalie Smearman is backstage, and she's going to be chatting with us about Bigfoot and all kinds of other stuff. She's had quite a few paranormal experiences in her life, so we're going to be chatting with her in just a few moments. How's your week been?
Long.
You said this the other day, and I've repeated it many times because you're right. This was the longest, shortest week.
It
ever.
is. I hate these weeks, honestly.
I know.
When, like you only work 4 days because of the holiday. Like they're awful. It seems like I don't know. It's awful.
Just trying to cram too many things into too short of a time.
Yep, got a lot going on.
Yeah. So a few things before we start. I don't know if anybody in chat can see on the YouTube chat the crowns. I had never seen that before, and Krista, you'd never seen it before.
No, and BJ just said I lost my crown. LOL. I had a crown 3. I've been demoted. LOL. We don't know why. We don't know what they are.
Okay, I found somewhat of an explanation here. It is a community leaderboard of some kind. Again, don't know why they decided to do this, they being YouTube. And what is the leaderboard, you might ask? A place for fans to stand out in the community. The top 3 get special badges in live chat. The crowns 1, 2, and 3, I guess. It resets every stream, so you can always try again. How do you get on the leaderboard? You'll need to collect experience points, or XP, and you get those through sending live chat messages, like you all are doing right now, or send super chats or super stickers. So I guess the more you chat, the more you send super stickers and all that stuff, the higher you go. The higher. Right now, the leaderboard is Denise and Pam with 150. JoJo, Mickey, Ristel, Little Patty, Krista, BJ all have 75 points.
Oh, okay. So I see. How are you seeing everybody's?
So
I see on mine. So on my phone, I have this up on my phone. And do you see where it says live chat? I have 75 XP.
Yeah.
I wondered what that was for.
So I think because it's on my channel, on the top of mine, it says Crown Community. So I just click on that, and I think, once you you would have saw this Thursday or Friday night, but I didn't see that on either night.
Weird.
If you click on the community, it'll show you the leaderboard.
Okay.
So we're off and running. I mean, Denise, it's neck and neck between Denise and Pam. Let's see who can win tonight.
By the end of the show.
Yeah. Paid to chat? I don't know if paid to chat. But it's just, I guess, some fun thing that for bragging rights. I don't know. Yeah,
that YouTube started doing. And you guys noticed the chat underneath me here. That's new.
Yes. I've seen this on a few, and I'm circling it with my mouse like anybody can see it.
Everybody can see it, right?
Yeah. I've seen that on a few shows, and that's kind of cool. So there you go.
You could actually StreamYard.
Right. So I guess with this, if the host has this turned on StreamYard, you can have your screen full screen and not have to worry about everything being small.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I don't know.
Cool. That'll work.
Fun. I don't know. Something fun to do while you're watching the shows that you like so much.
Yep.
So anyway, before we bring Natalie out, let's talk about, and real quick, talk about our conference.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Everybody's tired of hearing me talk about it, so you better talk about it.
Crossing Realms Conference, September 19th and 20th. Get your tickets. I mean, you guys have heard us talk about it. You know when it is. You know where it is. Get your tickets. They're going crazy. We've sold. Oops, I hit the wrong button. We sold a bunch of tickets already, and the Ghost Hunt Saturday night is all sold out. Friday, the meet and greet. I mean, it's not sold out, but it's going quick. So get your tickets now. The hotel in Richmond is sold out.
However, so we're having our pre-party at Big River Ranch, and all ticket holders, be it vendors, whatever ticket you bought, or the speakers or special guests, are all welcome to come to the pre-party at Big River Ranch. Big River Ranch, I think, has like 7 or 8 camping spots open if anybody's interested.
You can go tent camping out there too. And in September, I don't know if it'll be too hot to tent camp or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. You never know around here. For the last week, it's been rainy and upper 60s, lower 70s, and now today it's almost 90. And that sunshine. So,
last weekend it was cold.
It was.
I had a hoodie on all last weekend, but it's hot out right now.
Yeah. All right. One more thing before we bring Natalie up. This is going to be a new thing that I'm going to do. Coming up in June, we have some shows. June 7th. So, Krista, you're going to Missouri State Penitentiary that night. I unfortunately have to work that weekend, so I will not be able to go there. So the show will continue on. I have a guest. His name is Steve Wingnut, but he goes by Steve Searches, and he is up in the northeast of the United States. He's going to be on. I got Bigfoot Dwarf coming on. The 21st, I will not be on here, but I will be on another channel, Paranormal 411. So that'll be fun. Tune into that. And then we have finished the month with Spooky Dookie, which is a paranormal group that we met at Emmaus. And then we have Anne Celine on the 28th. Actually,
Spooky Dookie is coming to Missouri State Penitentiary.
Yes. I wish I could go to that. I wanted to do that.
Yeah, everybody's going to that one.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's bring Natalie up. And hey there, Natalie.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good. How are you all doing?
Good.
Y'all.
It's a Southern.
Y'all.
It encompasses everybody. Y'all.
That's right.
Right.
Oh, it didn't refresh.
What happened, Paul?
My thing didn't refresh. That didn't sound right. Anyway, Natalie, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Certainly appreciate you being here. So,
yes,
you All right, let's start out with you see on the bottom there with Relic Films. We were talking backstage about Greg Ogles, Mr. Moist. What a wonderful guy he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He's amazing.
How did you get involved with him in Relic Films?
Yeah. So last year I attended the Bigfoot conference in Ocala, Florida, and I met Adam Davis. And from there, we had a friendship, kept in touch. And then in February, Adam reached out to me and said, "Hey, are you interested in doing filming a documentary with me?" I'm like, "Absolutely." He goes, "Well, let me get you in touch with the producer." And it was Greg Ogles. So Greg gave me a call that same day. We talked as if we had known each other forever. Mm-hmm. And we just hit it off immediately. And 2 weeks later, I was in the Smoky Mountains with them filming and spent a week there with them. And it was incredible. And we have been working together ever since. And we're going to be filming more. And I just can't say enough wonderful things about him. He is funny. He is great. He is wonderful. And I owe him and Adam a lot. But I want to give a shout out and want to just make sure that he understands that I am representing him, Mr. Moist. I'm wearing my Moist t-shirt. And so
I love that. Oh my God, girl.
So I propose
that's great.
that next Bigfoot festival, we have an unofficial Moist t-shirt contest.
I'm game. I'm game.
Because they're not going to approve it.
Probably not. Do you know, did anybody ever tell you how that started?
Yes, with you.
Yeah, just out of the freaking blue. Greg, he would just send me like weird random messages, but that's just Greg, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he sent me the word moist. I'm like, that is such a gross word.
I know. That's my least favorite word.
Right. And so still to this day, he still sends me moist memes, moist everything. Every message he sends me is moist.
Yep. So I'm on a group chat with the Relic team, and we will periodically just moist.
Mm-hmm.
Moist.
It's true.
Just, and then there are other words in there which I won't say that stemmed from our week, which is a whole nother show. I'm going to just suggest that you do a whole nother show on just that.
I mean, I have a list.
You do have a list.
And it keeps growing. Every time I talk to him, it keeps growing. The list keeps growing.
Yeah.
I can't look at a Betty Crocker cake mix without thinking of Greg.
So super moist. You go down that aisle. Honey, get a cake mix. Oh, man.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
So everybody knows. So when we went to Townsend, Tennessee, it was Paul and myself, Natalie, Greg, Cheryl. We're all hanging out at Pizza Hut, out of all places. And new words come about, and Paul started taking notes. Paul, do you want to tell everybody what some of the new words?
Don't think I can. I don't want to get this shut down.
You may get fined.
Let me see if I can. I can't even tell you what I called.
You can't even berate them.
Can't say that. No, can't do that.
One of them is sprinkles. We could say sprinkles.
Sprinkle. That's not on my list. Sprinkles is one.
That's very G-rated, and nobody would. Yeah, honest to God,
it's G-rated until you explain it.
Yeah, on that whole list.
That's too funny.
And that was just from that week.
Well, you know what? Maybe I'll do a members only.
Yeah,
can you get banned for doing members only?
Water in the hotel for 3 days.
I remember you talking about that.
It was a nightmare. And we had to go and take a bucket down to the river to pick up buckets of water to fill the toilet tank up just to flush. And finally they got it fixed. But like one of the worst storms to hit that area right then. Hurricane force winds. trees
gosh.
knocked down, power outages. It was crazy. And they were on a well and it took out the whole motor.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So no showers, no nothing. Oh, that's
No.
Yeah.
No, and we were out every single day and hiking and really going deep into the woods and doing night investigations. And we had some baby wipes. That's all we had
for baby wipes, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, we need to do a show. We need to get everybody that was in Pizza Hut that night with us and do a show. Just on.
Yeah, Janice was there too. I forgot
Janice was there.
And Cheryl was there.
Yep. Janice and Cheryl were there.
Yeah. TMI. Yeah, JoJo.
Yeah.
You should have been there, JoJo. That was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was a good time. Hello, MK Ultra.
Hey, MK. Let's see. Hi, MK. Denise, JoJo. Let's see if I can get a leaderboard update. It still says 150 experience points for Denise and Pam.
Gotcha.
I don't know how we get more. Amy's here. Amy, I had breakfast for dinner. B. Corbin, how you doing?
What did you have for dinner?
Breakfast for dinner.
Breakfast.
Yeah. It's yeah. Amy and I always tell each other what we had for dinner.
Yeah.
So, Natalie, what was your, I know this goes way back for you. I mean, you're still pretty young. You're younger than both of us right now. So it doesn't go that far back. When you had your first experience with
for
Bigfoot.
paranormal?
Yes.
Oh, I had to be about 3 years old.
Oh.
And I was at my grandmother's house and I was in the field and I ran to her and Greg. And my great grandmother was known as Grandma Hannah. And her nickname was Hard-Hearted Hannah. She was just really but she had passed years prior to my birth. Well, I was running through the field with my arms stretched out going, Grandma Hannah, Grandma Hannah. And like the whole family just stopped.
Oh, wow.
So after that, there was always a presence in our home, in our family home. And I was going through a really difficult time in my early teens. And I woke up in the middle of the night and my great grandmother, Grandma Hannah, was standing at the foot of my bed.
Oh, wow.
Watching over me, almost like, I'm here for you. You're not alone.
Wow.
And so the next day I called my grandmother and I said, I want to come over. I want to make sure it was her because I had only seen pictures of her.
Mm-hmm.
So I went over and looked at the photo albums and it was her. I'm like, that's a little bun on top of her head and her little dress on and just cute as could be. She's that tiny little thing. And she was standing at the foot of my bed and it was almost like, I know what you're going through. You're not alone. We're watching over you.
Very cool.
And after that, there was always still this lingering presence, nothing evil, just that presence in my home and around me. And afterwards, as I grew up and moved out, at one time I was living in Boston. And that is a paranormal hotspot. Everywhere you go, there's, this house was built in the 1700s and that house was built in the 1800s. And even if it wasn't an old structure, it was built on top of something old. And so there were times that you would go through neighborhoods and something was for sale and it would say, this house is haunted.
Oh, wow. How cool.
Yeah. So it was really a cool experience. And then there's always, there's Salem that you can go through and take the ghost tours. And then there was Danvers is another big hot spot that you could take a tour, which people don't hear a lot about, but it's a hot spot, which when I was living in an apartment, I always saw like shadows out of the corner of my eye. Mm-hmm. Or in the middle of the night, I would hear somebody walk in the room and there's nobody there. And there was constantly movement around me in this apartment. So then it wasn't until I moved moved to Florida that it just went haywire. I mean, as soon as we moved into the house, and I had just gotten married at the time, and we moved into the house, and we had a lot of boxes that we were unpacking from both sides. And I unpacked this box, and I lifted this box out of the inside of the box, and I opened it up, and it was a little plastic bracelet. I looked at him and I said, "Oh, what's this?" I'm like, "Is this something that your child made?" And he goes, "Oh, no, that's a souvenir off of my first kill," because he was a ex-Green Beret, was in the Army for 20 years. And I said, you brought this into my home? He goes, "Well, that's my souvenir. I keep that. That's what we do." And I said, "That's not what I do."
Right.
And so I said, this can't be here. And he's like, "That you're crazy." No. And he kind of just blew it off. Mm-hmm. And I said, "No." And I mean, he just tucked it away. I could never find it, but I knew it was there. Mm-hmm. Well, about 2-3 months later, this shadow figure appears in the master bedroom, bathroom, our closet, as well as the guest bathroom, which was all right near the door to the garage.
Wow.
And so I was like, I know what this is, because clearly I unlocked something. Mm-hmm. So I got the sage, I prayed, I did positive, affirmations. Mm-hmm. And I basically said, "Here are the guidelines. You're not welcome here. And I know you don't want to be here." Mm-hmm. I said, "But if you can't leave, here are the rules of the house." And I had a whole list I went through, and I said, "If you break any of these rules, I'm going to have to take further steps. So don't do that." Mm-hmm. So I called him Shadow Dude. Shadow Dude would just kind of peek around a corner and that was it.
Right.
Never did anything bad. All of us, he would just peek, and he was very short and very low to the ground. Mm-hmm. He wasn't like this big monstrous thing. And you would just see him like go through. Right. That was it. Okay, fine. If that's all you want to do and you're not going to cause any harm, no foul. Mm-hmm. So then all of a sudden I was home alone, and the door to the laundry room, somebody was knocking on it. And so I was like, because we have a close neighborhood and where we used to live. Mm-hmm. And I was like, did I leave my garage door open? And our neighbors were close enough that they would just walk in like, "Hey, we're here. Don't get scared." Well, I opened up the door. There was nobody there. And I opened up the second door to the garage, and the garage door was closed. There was no one there. So wow. I'm like, okay. About 6 months later, sitting on the couch watching TV, and something knocks on the cabinet door in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. I get up, I take a look. Now, we have a lot of critters in Florida. My first thought is, did something get in to one of the cabinets and it's trying to get out? I opened up all the nothing was there. I looked outside, nothing was there. And then that was it for that. But then about a year and a half ago, mm-hmm. I was sleeping one night, and I'm laying there, sound asleep, and I woke up, and Shadow Dude was right beside me, staring at me, watching me sleep.
That's crazy.
I screamed. I lost it. Yeah. My daughter heard me scream, comes running down the stairs, and she's like, "It's just a dream. It's just a dream." I'm like, okay. I didn't say anything at the time because I was just out of it. I was terrified. I was shaking, walked around. I was like, this is not okay. So the next day I saged. I was like, "You crossed the line. We had an agreement. You ever do this again, we're done."
Right.
So at that time, things got a little hard in the house with the relationship between me and my husband. And I then moved upstairs, and then Shadow Dude evidently just stayed in that one area. He never came upstairs. He never came anywhere near me or the kids upstairs. One day, my son was in the bathroom downstairs, the guest bathroom. He comes out of the bathroom, and from the darkness in the master bedroom, he gets growled at. This thing growls at him. And so my son comes upstairs. He goes, something just growled at me. I'm like, I'll take care.
Did he see it when it growled at him?
He didn't see anything.
What was he doing?
He was just in the bathroom. He was in the bathroom. He came out of the bathroom. It was night. It was dark. And it was completely dark in the bedroom. And it growled.
Yeah. Okay,
So
it's time to go.
Yeah. Next day, I had the biggest come to Jesus meeting with Shadow Dude. And I was like, I won't say all the words I said, but I told him, I said, I will drag you to the depths of hell.
Right.
And I said, that's where you will be for eternity and we're done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So right about that time, my kids and I went away for Thanksgiving. We went on a cruise with other family members, came back a week later. The kids went in first. I had the rest of the stuff. I walked in, went through the door, and I looked, and Shadow Dude was standing right in the master bedroom watching me walk in. I said, is this how we're going to start this?
Wow.
He disappeared. And then when I went around, and then that's when my ex-husband took all of his belongings to storage, and Shadow Dude never came back because that box was in there and he left it
Mhm.
took it away.
Wow.
That was
Yeah.
it was crazy. And I had never witnessed or had any experience with a shadow figure before other than at that time.
Right.
And, I laid down the law, and the only time I ever showed fear is when he was standing beside me watching me sleep, and I woke up and got startled.
Oh yeah, that'd freak anyone out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was terrified. Any other time, I'm like, no. I
Right.
stood my ground. I'm like, you're not going to do this.
Mhm.
Now, my son had an experience growing up with Hat Man.
Mhm.
Mhm.
My son had seen spirits from very, very early on. In fact, he was a toddler, and he woke me up and he goes, Mommy, who's that guy standing in the doorway? And I'm like, what? He goes, that guy right there. And he's like, don't you see him? I'm like, I don't see anybody. And it was not scary. It was he explained it's an older gentleman with this shirt and these pants, and he has gray hair. And I'm like, he's probably just a family member watching over us. And I always taught the kids, there's, good spirits, and, it's okay. They're just a spirit, their energy. So then Hat Man appeared a few years later. And then that's when I had to have the come to Jesus with Hat Man.
Mhm.
And it kept going and going. And then it was when we moved to Florida, Hat Man followed my son to school.
Oh no.
And then he goes, Mom, he was in the hallway. And I sent them to school, and I went into his bedroom where Hat Man usually appeared.
Mhm.
And that's when I had the same conversation with him that I had with the Shadow Dude. I will drag you to the depths of hell.
Yeah.
And that's when he never appeared again.
Wow.
And both of these followed you from Boston, you think?
So Shadow Dude, not Shadow Dude. Shadow Dude appeared in Florida
Okay.
after I opened that box. The Hat Man followed us.
Okay.
Wow.
He went from Boston to West Virginia to Florida.
Wow. So how did you finally get rid of them?
That's when I did the sage.
Mhm.
And I opened the window. I saged. I said, you are not welcome here. I said, you will get out. You will stay out. You will stay away from my family, or I will drag you personally to the depths of hell for eternity.
There you go.
And that's what did it.
And then he left. Wow.
And then he left.
Yeah. And
But I
that's the
said
thing
it-
too. I think like your intention was there and it was strong because, I mean, it's your kids. So of course you're going to be, like in mama mode, like you don't F around with my kid,
Right.
So yeah. And your intention was strong there and you meant it and it knew that. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I was ready to go. I was ready to fight. I was in fight mode. I was stern and I was like, we can go right now.
Right.
And then that's when he was like, I'm gone. And he never came back.
That's awesome.
Did the shadow dude ever show up again, or is he gone?
He's gone.
Wow.
He's gone. As soon as that box left, he went.
And, like you mentioned, like you got really strong and stuff with it. And, I can relate to that only because, in different places that I went to and had encounters, like, number one, you don't show fear, whether you are or not, you show no fear. And then, like you come on strong. And honestly, knock on wood, after doing this so many years, I've never had anything follow me home or anything like that. But I feel like my intentions are out there. Yeah. And, like mentally, like I put it out there that, I don't play those games. So I don't have people follow me home.
And that's great. I mean, and I'm all for the positive spirits. You're welcome. You're welcome here. If you want to stop by, and the neighborhood we lived in had a lot of paranormal activity, a ton of it. Every house pretty much had a story or two. So, there were times that my daughter would be like, Mom, I just saw a little boy. I'm like, he's probably just passing through. He probably saw your room and was like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah. And he only stayed, he visited my daughter a couple times and then just left. I mean, so those positive experiences are great. I've taught my kids exactly how to handle it. And, don't be afraid, but just be mindful that they don't mean any harm. But at the moment you have that feeling that there's something bad going on, you let me know, because then I'll take care of it.
Right. Mama Bear will show up.
Mama Bear will show up with a big old...
I think, like, you said your son's real sensitive and probably your daughter is too. Yeah. So I call like people like that they see, like I call them roamers, because people who have abilities, I feel like they have a light bulb on their head and the roamers can see that. Yeah. So, like it's kind of a way of calling them in. And I think the way, as people use their, I guess, gifts more and more, I think your light gets brighter and they see that, so I think that's why your children, see the room.
Yeah. And I think we put out a lot of positive intentions and to make sure that, we have a welcoming home that's happy. And, if a spirit sees that and they're drawn to us, then, that's great. They want that. Right. And if they want to stop by for a little bit, that's okay.
Right.
Yeah. We can live in harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
And Jilly said Shadow Dude probably wanted his bracelet back.
Yeah, he did. Because I'm sure that had a lot of meaning for him, because where that kill was in Afghanistan. And there's a lot of spiritual meaning behind what they have. And to take that off of a body, I mean, that had to have been, that spirit held on to that because it had a lot of meaning. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is I wanted to do something with it, like a ritual, or whether it be a burial or whatever that may be, and put a blessing, whatever. But
yeah. Wow. I need you and Greg, you guys all need to come to Emmaus with Paul and I. We need to get you over there. They're literally, last weekend there was ghost activity. We had, we had some kind of, I don't know. They said it was possibly a dog man, and that was coming from Miguel Ramirez from Sasquatch Theory.
Wow.
It sounded like, because we were getting howls, and we also got tree knocks that were really close, 4 of them right there. And then the skies were freaking crazy. I bet literally we probably saw 20 UFOs. And
wow.
Has an app on her phone that shows you the like the Starlink and the satellites and stuff. Yeah. And she would put her phone up there, and it wasn't those.
Oh, yeah. We've got to get up there. That'll be fun.
Yeah. If you guys can like stay a few days later, when you guys come up for the conference, that would be awesome. We will take you.
Yeah, we can go. Yeah, that would be kind of on your way back home too. I mean, I mean, that's just south of St. Louis. So
crazy. Like there's a cemetery. You got to walk a little bit. It's up a hill, but there's an abandoned cemetery. It's from the early 1800s. It's really quite sad, honestly. But the graves are only buried 2 feet down. And there were 2 graves, I kid you not, that were dug up.
Oh.
Something is digging them up.
Oh.
It's not a shovel with a shovel either. I can't tell you what that is, but that's a true story.
We need to do a night investigation there.
Oh yeah. It was crazy.
So Philip asked, where is she talking about? That is Emmaus Asylum or Emmaus Village in Marthansville, Missouri.
Yep.
It used to be an asylum and nurses' quarters and all kinds of abandoned things, morgue, all kinds of fun things. And yeah, we're definitely going to need to go back there.
You guys definitely like get with Greg and see if you guys can stay a day or two.
Absolutely. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah. And it's just outside of St. Louis. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an hour away from here. So
yeah,
that is on the way home.
Yep.
Yep. So cool. Awesome. So I mean
just lose it.
You lose your train of thought there, Paul.
I do that every show, you know. That's my thing, I guess, you know. So Bigfoot stuff. You are pretty much all gung ho into the Bigfoot community and the Bigfoot stuff. How and why did you get into that?
So I grew up in West Virginia, and honestly, I always thought, and you heard everything, but we always we laughed about it. Like, oh, it's just folklore, wives' tale, not a big deal. So over the years, when I finally moved to Florida, there were a bunch of reports down here of Bigfoot sightings. And I'm going, is there something more to this? Right. So it sparked my interest in when I want to know something, I dive both feet in.
Were you a believer or were you like,
I was like, I don't know about this.
Right.
So when I wanted to know more, because if there's sightings close by, I got to know a little bit more. So that's when I started watching documentaries, reading books, going online, trying to figure out what this is. And the more I looked, I started to see eyewitness details of what they saw, and things were matching all across the United States where I was seeing these articles or encounters. And I'm like, okay, now I got to dive in a little bit deeper. So I started watching all the shows, figuring things out, watching interviews. And finally, last year, for my birthday present, I bought a VIP ticket to the Bigfoot conference in Ocala. So I got there and I set the intention that I was going to talk to as many people about their encounters, as many guests that I could, just to see what they had to offer. Well, it was amazing. I mean, all over Florida, there are sightings. Now, Southern Florida, around the Everglades, they have what's called skunk ape. And as you get further north into like Ocala, in that area, that's where you get Bigfoot. So, and then there's a little bit of a mixture in between.
Sure.
So, and people have these encounters. And this one lady I talked to that lives in Miami, she goes, yeah, I go out there all the time. She goes, I have 2 sightings so far this year. And so there's a lot of activity. And I'm like, I've got to learn even more. So I got to meet Adam there, and I got to meet so many people. We've connected, got to, connect on Facebook and got to know people better. And then I went to the other conference in Gatlinburg. And then I'm like, okay, so there I met Amy Bew and Shane Corson. And they stayed an extra day. And I got to go out to the National Forest with them.
Oh, wow. Shane is awesome.
Nice.
He's amazing.
Yeah, and he's amazing. He is.
I got to go out there with him to actually see what he does, how he looks at things, what he observes. I mean, front row seat.
Yeah.
For everything.
That's
and I'm
awesome.
like, I just felt like I won the lottery.
Absolutely.
And so it was phenomenal. So then I made sure that I booked a trip to the Everglades because I knew there was a skunk ape headquarters down there. And so I went down there and I said, I'm going to go alone. I'm going to camp in that area and I'm going to see what happens over a weekend.
Mhm.
And so I went down there by myself. The first night it was me and there was another camper, I mean, a long ways away. I saw their fire in the distance, but that was it. And so I made myself look very vulnerable to see what would come in. And I didn't have a skunk ape come in, but I did have a Florida panther come in.
Wow.
That was cool. That was so cool. I mean, it walked right beside my tent.
See, that would have been scarier to me than a skunk ape.
Yeah.
And thank you, Shelley, by the way, real quick.
Yes,
thank
thank
you very much, Shelley.
And so it was really a cool experience because it woke me up about 1:30 because I heard a loud chirp. And I'm like, that's not normal.
Right.
So I just laid there real quiet. And then these really big footsteps were right beside my tent.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sounded like a toddler trying to talk, like this garble. And by the time I sat up, I'm like, what is that? And, you know, I think it's funny because I think a lot of people go, oh, yeah, it's a skunk ape. And I'm like, you got to do your research. You have to rule out everything else before you can say, okay, I've ruled out everything else. It can only be this.
Right.
But in reality, what I learned, it was a male Florida panther in heat. And that's what they sound like when they're in heat. They chirp and they make childlike noises.
Oh, wow.
So I laughed because I told everybody they saw a cougar in a tent and, you know, they wanted to come
A vulnerable cougar.
That's right.
I mean, why did you decide to go out and just, you know, be by yourself in the middle of the woods and stuff?
So because I thought if I could make myself vulnerable, that would be the greatest chance of me getting something in to come in and be curious and take a look. I had my red light on. I had, you know, I didn't have my therm yet. I had bought my therm after that. And so I'm just trying to observe and take notes and really just dive into it because I knew if I went with a group of people that would make noise, they might not be as easily, you know, like very calm, like, okay, she's not a threat.
Right.
If you're in a large group of people, nothing's coming around.
Right.
So that's why I was all by myself. Now, the next day, a lot of people came into the campground and then nothing came around after that.
Right.
But a month later, I was at that same campground for a gator wrestling championship where the indigenous people of the Seminole Indian tribe and the Miccosukee Indian tribes came in. And it was phenomenal. And very late that night, I'm laying in my tent and I'm hearing something in the distance. There were two noises, and the best I could explain was a high pitched, like wahoo kind of, and I can't even do it because my voice is crackling. And I'm thinking to myself, what is that? And every time I asked somebody after that, nobody had heard it that night. It was going back and forth and it was way out in the swamp. And I'm asking people, they're like, well, it could be that bird. So I have my app, like, what is that bird? You know, what sound does that bird make? It wasn't that. I have an app of local birds in that area or local animals that make noises. Nothing matched.
Wow.
And I'm going, and that right behind where I was, a skunk ape was found, like they had taken a video years prior. So it was really a cool experience, and I definitely want to go back. And I have the opportunity to go back this October as well to see if I'm able to like reconnect in that area.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Mickey, very much. Appreciate that. real quick, there was a question in chat that I wanted to bring up to you, but
Yeah.
real quick before I do that, going into these woods by yourself, making yourself feel vulnerable or something, do you carry weapons with you to protect yourself or anything to protect yourself? Or
I
is it
carry
just
bear
mama
spray.
bear?
I carry bear spray and a knife.
Bear spray.
And, for me personally, and this is me personally, this is not for anybody else, and this is a personal preference. I don't carry a gun just because if there's somebody out there, I would hate to shoot someone on accident.
Right.
And I would rather bear spray them.
Yeah.
Where they'll be okay later.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to cause any physical harm. But if I'm attacked, I have my knife. Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
So Barb has a quick question in here. Please explain the purpose of a red light and not a high-heeled cougar. That's for a different show.
Yeah, that's for a different show. So the red light is like it's for animals, they don't really see it as well. So I put the red light on. So if they were to pass by or if there was something out there, they're not going to get startled and it's not going to blind them. So I'm going to be able to see and they're going to be able to see me.
Yeah, I also use red light, and it also if you're outside too, the bugs aren't attracted to it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we use that in ghost hunting too. That it's easier. You don't
Except
blind other people that are.
It's red light.
Yeah.
And you can get them at Walmart.
Yep.
Yeah. And I have this
in the
big
camping
old beam
section
that I take with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was another question here. Who had that?
I started.
Yeah. So little Patty said, Bigfoot knocked me out of a tree when I was little in West Virginia. I was a spotter for my brothers when they went hunting.
Huh.
Wow.
I didn't know that, Patty.
So many questions out of that, Patty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will be in touch.
So I mean, West Virginia is a hot spot. There's a lot of activity there.
Oh yeah.
Growing up, of course, back in the 70s and 80s, we didn't have the internet. And so it was, you didn't hear a lot of reports other than like word of mouth. And so now you hear all the reports, and there's an app that you could put on your phone that shows you where all the Bigfoot reports are.
Yep.
And what classification of report it is. So if there's a visual sighting class A or class B or whatever it is, it will show it the date and times and everything. So it's pretty cool.
There's a Dogman one too.
Yeah.
So I have a question. I have heard rumors, and I don't know if it's true or not because I've never looked for them down in Florida when I was there, but I've heard that the skunk ape is more aggressive than like your average Bigfoot. Is that true?
I have not heard that. And the witnesses that I've spoken to that have experienced skunk ape have not had any type of interaction with them that was aggressive.
Okay.
It's always been, they've seen them, they leave them alone. They do their thing, and it's pretty much the same as a Bigfoot encounter around here as well.
Okay.
And how bad do they smell?
From the witnesses, it's pretty bad because of the swamp. They're in the swamp, and they've got moss, and they've got just that crud on them. The swamp isn't a pretty smelling place.
No.
Is it? Yeah. So how do they, this might be a weird question coming from me here in Missouri that doesn't have alligators. So how would something like that stay alive? Like, because you guys got like big alligators and stuff down there. Like, I wonder how, because how would they stay alive down there without getting eaten?
So with the alligators are everywhere, and they are really, really aggressive in April and May during mating season.
Okay.
And so for me, I stay away from the water, any water areas, April and May, even into June, just because they are aggressive. They're protective. After that, like August, September, after that, they're pretty docile. I mean, I have been in areas where there's a gator just laying right there. It doesn't matter. They will not come after you. They're hot. They're not aggressive.
Okay.
I mean, they don't want to be messed with.
Yeah.
You don't mess with them. They don't mess with you. You can walk right by them.
Okay.
So it really depends on the time of year. But there's a lot of predators in and around Florida. And when I was talking to one of the eyewitnesses down there in the Big Cypress National Forest, he was saying that years and years ago, they had a lot of the population of skunk ape was pretty large. The Florida panthers that population was going down. The government brought in another panther breed from, I believe it was like the West, and brought that in to help that population. Well, that population started to go up. And as that went up, the food source had shifted. And they said the skunk apes actually moved further north out of that southern region. Now, where I'm talking about is right underneath Alligator Alley, in between Miami and Naples. So that lower section of all the swamp, they've moved further north because of the population. And if you were to drive down there, there's signs like every 20 feet, Florida Panther crossing, please beware. And there are fences 20 feet high on each side of the road to prevent the panthers from crossing the road and preventing them from getting hit.
Wow. You guys have some non-invasive snakes too down there.
Oh, horrible. We have boas, we have pythons, we have various chameleons that shouldn't be there. So there's a lot of people in that southern area that will go out and hunt them to get them out, because it's killing all of the animals that are native to that area. Now, when we went out, because I went down there in October and then in November. In November, we had a larger group for the alligator wrestling. And we went off into the swamp. And you're right, it's America's Australia. We went off into the swamp and just to see what we could find. And as we entered that area, there were gator slides that had to be between 2 and 3 feet wide.
Wow.
These are massive gators. And I'm like, I was in awe that they're that big. And it was just right there. The slide was right there. So they were in the pond within 20 feet of us, just watching us from the water. But because it was November, it's not mating season. We're not trying to be a threat to them. We're not throwing anything at them. We're not being aggressive. We're being very respectful of their space. They didn't do anything.
Yeah. And you know, I'm sorry, Paul, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it makes sense. Brandy and I went down to Fouke, Arkansas, and we were with Will Lunsford, and he had told us to, we were kind of getting by the water. He's like, you guys get back, because of the alligators. I wasn't even thinking alligator. We don't have them here in Missouri.
Right.
And so it's like, I want to get back. He's like, look at this. He shined his lights. I'm like, oh my God, look at all the freaking eyes.
Yeah. If I see a gator near me, I'm, mating season, not mating season, I'm giving it its space. I'm not getting anywhere near that damn thing.
They're just little swamp puppies. That's all that they are.
They're good. They could stay way away from me then. That's fine. We went down to the Everglades one year on one of those airboat cruises through the thing. And my God, there were so many of them. And we actually got stuck in one in some kind of bank or whatever. And the driver actually got out and he said, if something gets me, here's how you control this thing. And I thought he was joking at first. And he's like, no, this is real. Like, oh
no. And I just saw a question. And yes, there are crocs. There are crocodiles in southern Florida.
Wow.
Yep.
So,
You mentioned this when we were chatting before, when I was asking you to come on the show, alligator wrestling.
Yes.
What, why, and why?
What is it?
And why?
So this stems from the indigenous tribes of Florida. This is part of their ritual. This is part of their native culture. And they do alligator wrestling. And they demonstrated that for us, which was amazing. I mean, what a great experience that was. And if anybody gets to witness that it shows their culture, how they would go in and wrestle an alligator and how they do it. they go in with their bare feet.
Nope.
Nope.
And you know, they work as a team or they work alone. It's nothing short of spectacular, to say the least. And to watch them do this and to be able to do that. And then once they got the alligator captured, everybody got to go down and take pictures. You know, we're kneeling in the swamp next to the gator.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So MK Ultra says, did Natalie wrestle an alligator? Is that what we're getting at?
No,
Actually,
I did not wrestle an alligator. These were professionals. And these were from the indigenous tribes who are professionals that do it. We just got to witness it.
That's cool.
And then after it was captured, we got to take a picture with the wrestler and the gator.
Wow.
I was going back in our chat thread. You sent me a picture of you with the gator, and oh man,
Yes.
now I can't find it.
I could probably find it quickly and send it.
I'm going way back here. This is, well, you know what? Maybe I can do this. Save forward. Nope.
So if you're in Messenger, click on your files. It'll come up that way quicker.
Oh, here I'm airdropping it to my computer, and oops, hang on a second. Please hold while we almost closed out the StreamYard.
Yeah, don't
That
do
would
that.
have been.
Don't do that.
Let's see here. Photo.
So while Paul's doing that, Natalie, there's a question that says, MK Ultra asks, what animal would you fight for sport?
I don't know. I would. I'm only 5'2". I'm 52. I may break a hip, so I'm gonna give that to the professionals.
Yep.
You know, maybe 20, 30 years ago, I'd be all over it. Not now. I got arthritis.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, arthritis and menopause, people.
Right? I may hurt myself.
Right.
Welcome to the. No, never mind. Here's that picture of you with that gator. I mean,
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
even a baby gator is too big of a gator.
Yeah. So he is one of the professional wrestlers.
And he has all his arms and looks like he has all his legs.
Yep, he sure does. And there I was down, and that was muddy. And I had my hand underneath the gator's mouth, and that gator was exhausted by the time they got done with him. Now, the gator was not hurt. He was perfectly fine. And this is just what they do. And they let him go right after this. After the photo opportunity, they let him go.
Wow, very cool.
How do they pick the gators for this?
Whatever gator's there. Because, I mean, it's a swamp. I mean, they just grab a gator.
Wow. So sometimes they're big ones, sometimes they're little ones.
Yeah. And I mean, so where this property is, there's smaller ponds and some smaller gators are in the ponds. So you're camping right next to a pond and there could be a little gator right there.
That's a hard no.
So I had my tent the second time. I had my tent right next to a pond and there was a little gator, and then I would have snakes come in. So
nope.
They were not
poisonous.
poisonous.
Man. I mean, I could feel my skin crawling. This is disgusting.
I mean, I personally don't mind snakes. I'm not scared of them. However, I don't want them crawling in my tent with me.
Yeah. They, I wouldn't want to sleep with them.
No.
Yeah.
This is
Not at all.
Weird.
No.
You know, one of the venomous ones or something new.
Yeah. I didn't see any any cottonmouths, but I did see black racers are all over there, and they're not poisonous.
No.
And they'll slither by, and you just, you give them a point or like a little touch on the tail and they slither off.
Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah. I mean, but when we were in that second time, and we were in the swamp area, and we saw those big gator trails, I was looking for pythons. I was looking for boas. I'm like, you know, we're about halfway, you know, calf up in muck and water. And at any time, I mean, we could see something. I mean, I was worried about something coming through because we did have some preteens with us, and I'm watching out for them and making sure that they're okay. But we did come across something really cool, and it was something we could not explain. And one of them was a tree that had bent over, and the other one was a tree that was ripped out and then balanced on another tree that looked like it had been ripped or carved. And this tree was long. I mean, it wasn't something that like one person could just say, oh, I'm going to do this. But it's in the middle of the swamp.
Is this the picture you sent me?
Yeah, it's the video. It's actually, that's part of the tree. Okay. And this was about 25 feet up.
Wow.
And then like, we're trying to think, okay, well, you know, that's just something alone. We couldn't understand what it was. You know, we couldn't really explain it. I'm not saying that it was a skunk ape or anything else, but it was just something we couldn't explain. And then this video, we just stood there in awe. We're like, what would have done this in the middle of a swamp? And I mean, we're out there.
Yeah.
There's nobody around. And so it was really, really strange.
Okay. Yeah. Here we go. A 6-second video. So real quick, hang on. That reminds me of those rocks that you see that are perfectly balanced, one on top of the other. Just that was really cool.
Yeah, so it was perfectly balanced. That tree went all the way through. And I mean, it went far. And we're trying to look around, and there was no explanation for that.
Wow.
There was nothing else around, and we saw that bent over tree, and then we saw that.
Wow. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Dario's from Italy. That we were talking about the swamps in southern Florida, correct?
Yes.
Southern Florida.
Yes. Yeah. Be specific. It's the Big Cypress National Forest.
Yeah. Wow. It's if you get a chance to go down there, it's pretty awesome to see that.
It is. It's really a beautiful area. Lots of birds. I mean, just a really cool place to visit.
Paul, could you show the video again? They're asking.
On it. As soon as I can find it. There it is.
Wow.
That's just amazing how it does that.
Yeah.
There was another question in here. Here it is. This goes back to the skunk apes. There we go. What is your opinion on people saying skunk apes are actually black bears?
And that's actually quite interesting. And some people do think that they are black bears. We do have a lot of black bears here in Florida. However, the skunk apes that people see are in the swamp, in water and muck, walking upright, bipedal, and walking. Bears can't do that. Now, I'm not saying all sightings are skunk apes.
Right.
If you're on dry land, and black bears they can walk on 2 feet.
Yeah.
And they could be mistaken for a skunk.
I don't think they can walk the distance, though.
No, they can't walk the distance. And when you are in water, and I mean, where a lot of these sightings are in the swamp. And these swamps there's mud, there's muck, there's these reeds that come out that you're trying to step over that are attaching to your legs. So it's not easy to walk through. And so these things walk with strides right through. So when you see that, you're like, okay, that a bear cannot do that.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you say you saw a skunk ape?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, when I was down there, I interviewed a lot of people in the area that have lived there. They have all seen it.
Wow. Very cool.
It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting down there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get to go back in October. I'm excited.
Send me more pictures of the alligator wrestling. I want to, if you see that again.
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. They're going to have a big event in October.
Wow.
Yeah, the real challenge would be to wrestle them during mating season. That would be
that's going to be a hard no. That's going to be a real hard no.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you ever go to Gatorland in or around that time, all the gators, they're feisty.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Yeah. What is your opinion on a 2000 Mayaka skunk ape?
Mayaka skunk ape photos. I know what you're talking about. I have seen them. It's a little grainy. I can tell you that there were people there that witnessed it saying it was a skunk ape. I wasn't there. I'm the type of person that if I see something, I'm going to go out where that was and take a further look.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, I am, even though I believe in this stuff, when I hear something or see something, I'm skeptical and I want to see it for myself.
Sure.
I want to go and I want to witness it. I want to see the surrounding areas. I want to see where it was walking. Is it possible for that to be there? So I'm not saying it was a fake by no means. I'm just saying I would like to go and visit that area myself.
Cool.
Okay.
Very cool.
I think I could, whoops, not wrong one. I could be wrong, but I did a quick search. Thank you, Google. And I think I found it. I'm not too familiar with this, so I don't know if this is it or not. If I could find it. There we go. There. Whoop. Take the comment off.
Yeah. You want me to take it off?
Got it.
I think that photo's been around for a long time.
Yeah. So that area right there, that several people have tried to recreate that and walk through there, and they had a very, very difficult time.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have some waders and go out there.
Is that all swamp out there? Where it's at?
Yeah, that's all swamp.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
That's all swamp, and that's some very difficult terrain to walk in.
Yeah.
Very difficult. I know that a lot of folks that are in and around that area will go out there, but there's gators out there, there's snakes out there, so you got to be real careful.
Mm-hmm.
I did go, it's funny story. When we were out there in the swamp, I've got my boots on, I've got my little backpack, I'm ready to go. And we were with a couple, Josh and his wife, Rochelle. They went out in bare feet.
Oh, wow.
Shorts, shirt, bare feet, nothing else, just went out. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Great
to each
people.
their own. To each their own.
Yeah.
That's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Ron Riley also asks, what do you think of Dave Shealy's video of 2000?
I will tell you, I was there. I was down. I wasn't there at the time. I was down there. And I was standing in the exact spot that he took that video.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, to go out there and walk through that muck is next to impossible.
Mm-hmm.
For me anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it, I know that he has lived there for a very long time, him and his family. That is his family's property.
Mm-hmm.
He's lived there his whole life. He has seen the skunk ape. He took that video when he was walking across that property. And to be honest, that's where I camp.
Mm-hmm. I think, honestly, my opinion, I think Dave Shealy, I think he's legit myself.
Mm-hmm. He is.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go down there, and I know he'll show you his casts and everything, and he's very into all the creatures that are around and preserving what is there.
Yeah.
And so he was showing me right where he was standing, and I was just in shock that, like, there's no way. I mean, I would need waiters. Again, I'm sure. I mean, maybe because Dave's a tall guy. He's a good 6'3", 6'4". He would have troubles going through there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Greg asked if you could put it up again, Paul. If he can find it, he will, Greg.
The skunk ape. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's weird.
Yeah. And just let everybody know, too, I don't know, I might have said it in the beginning of Paul's show, but Natalie will be at our conference. She's going to come and hang with, she's going to come with
Greg.
I will be hanging out with Mr. Moist himself.
So those of you who have tickets, come and hang out with us.
Greg, I hope you saw that.
Me too.
Stand up again, Natalie. Yeah. There it is. Yep.
Love it.
Greg. Yep. Yep.
I will tell you, I told Greg what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Oh.
We do.
Okay.
Funny.
MK Ultra. This is the Crossing Realms conference in Richmond, Missouri, September 19th and 20th this year.
And we have everybody and their brother going to be there, literally.
Yep. Yep. Except I don't have a brother, but I'll be there.
It blew up. It blew up. Yeah. But looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah. So, I mean, you need to make that shirt for the conference.
Right?
Yeah. You know what? If
Thursday night
start selling moist shirts, put me on the list. I'll buy one.
Yeah. I think we should. We should just get a bunch of moist shirts, have a moist t-shirt contest.
And debut them at Crossing Realms.
Yes.
Debut them there.
So, you know, moist t-shirt contest, not to be confused with a wet t-shirt contest. We don't do that. No. It is a moist t-shirt contest.
Yes. That's the disclaimer. Not the wet, the moist. Lots of moisture.
Yes, that's awesome.
Quick check of the leaderboard tonight. Pam is in the lead now with 225 experience points. I feel like a game show host. Denise is second, and Krista is actually they're tied for second.
150.
Yeah. And Denise has been stuck at 150 since the show started. Pam's up to 225.
Very cool.
Okay. The winner gets bragging rights, I guess.
Yeah.
There we go. Bragging rights. That works.
So what's Ron, it's some, I don't know if you noticed in chat, there's crowns on people's names, on three people's names. It's just a weird community thing. I didn't do it.
It out.
Yeah. YouTube started this. It's kind of cool. Fun.
This is funny here. OPR 357 says there's a fine line where extra moist turns into wet. Oh, that's too funny.
Again, not that kind of conference.
No, not that kind of conference.
There's going to be a disclaimer as soon as you walk in. This is
We have a
no wet
G-rated
t-shirt
conference
contest.
we're doing. Yes, no.
And this is just for Thursday. Anyway.
I can't promise nothing on Thursday.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole different.
Not what t-shirt contest, though. I can promise you there won't be that.
No.
Just sporting the moist t-shirt.
Sporting moist.
That's right.
Anyway. Natalie, what is next with Relic Films for you guys?
Oh, exciting. So we filmed in March in the Smoky Mountains. Had activity every single day. It was incredible. I can't even begin to tell you. I cannot wait for this film to be released, and it's going to be released in the beginning of 2026.
Awesome.
He's doing all the edits right now and making sure that the music is right and everything is perfect. And it's going to be absolutely incredible. What we experienced was mind-blowing. I couldn't even believe that we were seeing everything that we did every single day. Wow. And then we are filming again this fall. And so that's going to be really exciting as well. So we'll just keep bringing more and more really cool stuff your way.
Yep.
And it's just like ghost hunting and stuff. You don't know what you're going to get when you go in there, and you pretty much go in there with the mindset you're not going to get anything.
Right.
And you guys get stuff almost every single night.
Yeah. In fact, the first night we went out, it was just kind of like a practice, kind of like, let's see how this is going to go. And boom, we were just like, what is happening right now? Like all this stuff started happening. And so we got that filmed. And then every day and night after that, we got something, whether it be paranormal, whether it be, and I wanted to call out when you had the NCI guys on a couple weeks ago, they mentioned about metal knocking. I got to
we got that at the LBL. We actually Brandy has a recorded EVP. We're just running EVPs during the day, and it was up at one of the cemeteries, and it sounded actually like a metal door shutting. Yeah. And so that night we were there actually with Martin Groves. He wasn't at the cemetery that day, but that evening we played it for him. He said that's what it sounded like when he had his encounter.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. Oh, go ahead, Natalie.
No, go ahead. Yeah, because I was just saying it was such a cool thing to witness and experience. And it happened not just one time. It happened several times back to back. And I'm going, what in the world is happening right now?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you guys mentioned this because there was a question earlier from BJ LaPier. Please ask Natalie about if she has heard anything about Bigfoot making sounds that sound like Morse code. It was mentioned on the last show that we did with BJ, one of her videos that she sent me of she was seeing what she thinks is UFOs, and there was all kinds of weird Morse code coming out of that.
Yeah. I have not heard anything about Morse code with Bigfoot. I have heard Morse code with UFOs. Not personally, but that's what I've heard about. But I haven't heard anything about Bigfoot. I know about the knocking, the whoops, the clicking, the talking, but nothing to do with Morse code.
Okay.
I mean, not saying that they don't, but I just haven't heard of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay. I think you already covered this, but Ron asked this. You mentioned the shadow dude and the hat man that you saw. What is the scariest? You know what? Let's do the scariest cryptid encounter that you've ever had.
Well, I'll tell you, it was when we were in the Smoky Mountains. I mean, normally I'm like, okay, I'll see it and whatever things have happened. But it was at night. It was very dark, walking along a path. Didn't have any lights on. We were just going by what little moonlight that there was. And everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, I got an overwhelming sense of dread, fear. I felt like somebody was sitting on my chest. I felt every hair on my body stand up, and I felt like it was almost like something, like there was a predator there. I felt like there was something right there, and I'm shaking. I'm just beside myself. And I'm like, is there something here? There's something here. I got out the therm. There's nothing on the therm. Wow. I'm trying to figure out what's around me because you can't see hardly anything past a certain point. And you're surrounded by vegetation. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's going on? And then I was asked, step away from that area. I stepped 15 feet away. I was fine. Step back in that exact location. And I just felt like it was hard to breathe. Wow. I was just, my chest, I had knots in my stomach. I was in fear. And I could not tell you what was right there.
Wow.
And then right after that, that's when the orb showed up.
Wow.
It was crazy. So that was the scariest piece because I couldn't see. I couldn't figure out what it was, but I knew there was a serious threat there, and whatever it was, it had its eyes on me.
Wow. Yep. What do you believe the orbs are?
I believe it's energy with intelligence behind it, because we've had orbs appear that reacted to us. They reacted to our laughter. They reacted to us singing and dancing. We were trying to entertain them. And so there is an intelligence behind them, or something intelligent controlling them.
Yeah.
They were very curious about us, especially when we were having fun and laughing. They started to get brighter and come real close to us and just kind of take a look, like, what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah. Interesting.
And then we actually had some orbs on the path, kind of like making sure that we stayed where we were. Like, it was almost like they were like a lookout. And the other orbs were just kind of hovering, like looking at us.
Yeah. Awesome.
It was really cool. And they were different colors. They were red and orange, green, blue, gold. It was really, I mean, it was spectacular.
Wow.
What do you think the different colors represent?
I don't know. I think it's just a different type of energy, a different, I don't know, almost like an aura.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Could be. Could be. We don't know.
Yeah. Little Patty says orbs are disembodied souls.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
My phone keeps going off, and guess who it is? Paul, I'm sure yours is going off too.
Mr. McLean.
Yeah, Jason says, and just a quick reminder, I hate all of you. We got a group chat with Tex and BMR and of us, Monica and Jason. He's so funny. He just he's joking, of course, but just a quick reminder, I hate all of you, especially Paul. He put, did you see that?
Because the flyer that I put on my Facebook page, guest was misspelled. Natalie, you actually told me that. I didn't even notice it. We've been looking at this for a long time and didn't even notice it. And actually, I think somebody mentioned it to you, Natalie. So it wasn't. Yeah. So if Jason's listening, it wasn't Natalie that did it.
It wasn't.
So, and I mentioned that to him. So yeah, there's more work for Jason to do.
Poor Jason. He's done a great job on our flyers, though.
Yes, he has. Awesome. I mean, he did. Oops, man. You'd think I'd know my way around StreamYard by now.
You would think.
Yeah. I mean, he did that. He worked that up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, another plug for the conference.
Yeah.
One more quick question from Italy. Going out to Italy. I tried to say it with an Italian accent, but I would mess that up. Where do you think the orbs come from?
So I think that area is a big hotspot for the paranormal. And let me tell you why. I interviewed a lady that generations of her family have lived in that area. Her grandfather was on a team that helped build the roads through the national forest. And she said that her grandfather, as they were putting in the roads, they were digging up the ground, and they found unmarked graves, a lot of unmarked graves. Some of these graves, which is quite frightening, it showed that these people were buried alive. They were trying to scratch out. And so as all of these graves are being unearthed, a lot of these souls, were not put to rest. And so there is a big hot spot. So in my opinion, it is that energy resurfacing.
Wow. That's crazy. And I have to say, during this interview, like in the middle of it, something brushed against my leg. And I thought it was the cord for my microphone, but that was tucked on the side. So something hit my leg earlier. So,
interesting.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Somebody there watching. Yeah. So, all right.
Maybe they had a question.
Just trying to get my attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, hey, I got a question.
Yeah. Who knows? But that's why you see me going down here with the light and stuff before. So anyway, Natalie, thank you so much for coming on, spending your Saturday night with us.
I appreciate y'all.
This was
Thank
awesome.
you.
This was awesome. A lot of interesting information coming from you. And, hey, if you see alligator wrestling as an Olympic sport next well, in the next Summer Olympics,
Yeah.
I will not be joining that.
no. I will not even be watching that. Just,
Yep. And then July 10th, Natalie will be coming on Blondes and Booze. And,
Yes.
well, we're doing a girls show.
Yes. Maybe we could have like a little cocktail hour.
There we go. That'd be
you know what?
great.
We should. When is that a Thursday or Friday night?
Thursday.
Right after that, just like the Republican or the when the president talks, we should have like the guys rebuttal show or something after that.
That's funny.
Yeah, maybe you can have Greg on. Oh, thank you, Greg, Mr. Moist, representing.
We have Greg on our show all the time. He knows he has an open invitation.
Yes.
He's been on Blondes and Booze a gazillion times. I can't even tell you how many times.
Yeah. He's been on here quite a few times too. So awesome.
Yes.
And one final check on the community leaderboard here. Looks like Pam is the winner with 225 points.
Woohoo!
Denise is second with 200. Barbara, Jason Finch, Greg Ogles, Mickey, Amy, Little Patty, Jilly, Krista, B. Corbin, BJ, all are tied for third with 150. So I guess the crown tonight goes to Pam. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Greatly appreciate you guys coming in and spending part of your Saturday night with us. Special thanks to Mickey G for the $5 and Shelly Montgomery. Good to see you again, Shelly. $9.99. She donated. Thank you guys very much. All that money is going to go towards the conference. In case you haven't heard about the conference, again, you think I would know this, but Crossing Realms Conference, September 19th.
We're having a conference?
That's what the rumor is.
What?
I've heard of it. All three of us are going to be there at the conference. So come and meet us. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Come and hang
All right,
with
guys.
Say hi.
Have a wonderful night. Appreciate you guys being here. I will talk to you guys later.
us. See y'all.
Whoops.
Bye.
Did I-
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.